Hey everybody, Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups. Today is Thursday, April the 10th. Let me see if I can find the live feed. There I am. Let me edit it. Okay, yesterday I went at 1:30 to my first meeting at the Tarrant County Historical Commission. Hold on, let me write this. I can't write and talk at the same time. Thursday, April 10th. And I'm gonna share it to the internet and to memories and to live videos, and I'm gonna tell everybody good morning. Okay. George is in, Dub's in, and I'm in. As they said yesterday, we've got a quorum. I had to look that word up, see what it meant. In other words, there was enough of us there to vote. And it was real short and sweet. It was 15 minutes, it was over, but I stayed and talked to several of the people that are fellow board members. So there's 18 people, and that includes the chairman. And so I'm only one of 18. But I will tell y'all now, and they already know it, I am for preserving history of Fort Worth and Tarrant County, and for also educating youth. The target age is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. So I know we can't save everything, but over the years we've torn down a lot of stuff that should have been saved. And I say a lot, I can think of 2 or 3 different things during my era, and I can assure you I was chained to every one of those structures, and it got to be a kind of a funny situation for the police would come out and said, "We brought our own bolt cutters today, Larry." The first time it happened, well, not really the first time, but the first time it had happened in a long time was the 7th Street Theater, and I was connected to the gas, the gas meter was in the back. That's where they ran the bulldozer through. And so I was chained to that, and the chain was about 3 foot, so I was standing in front, right in front of where he was going to drive that bulldozer. And the reason, and I told the cops, I said, we've got a judge that just signed a stay on this until we can get something worked out. They had to go down, they didn't have any bolt cutters. So back then, all of those bars weren't on 7th Street. Fort Worth Bolt and Tool was over there. And they went over there and I guess either bought one or got one. And as soon as they had me disconnected from that gas line, it wasn't 5 minutes. Our people, the guy that went downtown to pick up the writ, came, and of course it was already too late. So I know we can't preserve everything. Like the Stockyards area, those old buildings were falling apart. We all get upset we really get upset when anybody comes in here from any other city or state and tries to redo our history. I've consulted with that group, the groups over in Stockyards, and they've tried to stay as much as they can close to our history, our heritage. But you can't save it all. And I told all of y'all then it'd take millions of dollars to redo that. Of course, at the time I didn't have any idea. We couldn't have stopped it anyway, not unless somebody was Elon Musk's father or brother or something. I had no idea that one of the hotels they were going to put up is $1,000 a night. I am one for not standing in the way of history, but some things, the William Madison McDonald Mansion, Gooseneck Bill, that's another one that should have been preserved. I would have thought the African American community would have been fighting that stronger than I was. On that deal, I paid for lawyers out of my pocket to try to stop that. But anyway, so now I'm not the Lone Ranger, but I have pretty persuasive ways, and I met several of the people there that are on the board. Most all of them are members on our group. They want to come visit the museum. So I'm going to fight for history where I think and y'all think it should be fought for. So y'all got a voice in the Historic Commission. I want to thank Manny Ramirez for appointing me to that. The only way to get on that commission is to have one of the county commissioners appoint you. There's only 4. Or the county judge, which is Tim O'Hare. So there's only 5 people that can put you on that commission. And I know all of them. Elisa Simmons, Manny, Tim O'Hare. I know them all. So anyway, I'm not sure. I've got my little notebook here that yesterday, I guess they record everything, and it was recorded. We had a couple of members that were online with us, but it tells the guidelines and the things that their Tarrant County Historical Commission 2018 bylaws, I guess those are still in force. So I've got a lot of reading to do. The term is 2 years, and I can be reappointed or maybe not. I guess everything in Tarrant County and Fort Worth, the mayor's deal is 2 years. The city council members are 2 years. Good morning, Ginger, Dub, Larry. So, anyway, that's a big day in my life. I mean, I've always wanted, I know the history. I just never could get on anything like that because of my past and my family's past, I guess. But anyway, we've looked past that. And so I'm super excited. Now this Saturday, they are going to have a tour of the old 1895 courthouse. I encourage people to go. I don't think I'll be able to make it because we'll be eating, and then we usually stay till 2:30 or so. But if you get the opportunity to go, you need to get a ride because it's also Arts Fest, Main Street's Arts Fest. But the courthouse I'm referencing is the one where they filmed Walker, Texas Ranger. The one at the end of Main Street. And it's a good tour. I've been involved in them. There's a little museum there, and it's really little. But they've got some of the old uniforms that the Second Dragoons wore, and basically the stuff back in the 1850s. In fact, they had a fire down there here 2-3 years ago, but I don't think it damaged anything. So anyway, yeah, it was a good day yesterday. I'm one step ahead of you. They're in Cleburne are wanting to know the Depression era, how bad was Fort Worth hit. It was not hit that bad. I only know of 2 soup lines. The city to the east had it a lot worse than we did. Amon, as he had brought businesses in here, it was diversified enough that some of them were still operating and making a profit and were able to keep people working. It was tough though. Probably the worst absolute day was May 30th of 1930. They ran on the Fort Worth National Bank. Amon was home at Shady Oak Farm. He was sick. He had been to the doctor. Dr. Webb Walker was the city doctor, and he was also Amon's doctor. And he prescribed him some medicine that would make him sleep, so Amon was groggy. But at 5 o'clock in the evening, he got a phone call from the president of the bank. Now, at this time, the Fort Worth National and First National were both downtown. They butted up to each other. So the bank president said, "Mr. Carter, we've got a problem down here. There's probably 800 people that want their money, and we don't have it." So Amon said, "Well, can you just shut the doors?" And he said, "We can't shut the doors. They're in the lobby, and outside on the street, the cops have shut the street down." So Amon said, I'm coming. I'm going to stop and get Pappy Wagner." And at that time, Pappy Wagner was the richest person west of the Mississippi, bar none. And Mr. Stripling was there, Mr. Monning, and other city leaders. And so when they got downtown, Amon, both bank presidents were there, and the people were lined up about 10 feet back of the teller windows. And so Amon kind of said, "Hold on, people, let me find out what's going on here. I just got here." So W.T. Wagner, William Monning, or Oscar Monning, William Stripling, and Pappy Wagner went back there and talked to the 2 bank presidents. And so the one that they were running on the bank, Amon talked to the other bank president and said, "How much does..." Well, he asked Pappy Wagner first. He said, "Do you have any money in the other bank?" And Wagner said, "Amon, I've got money in every bank in Fort Worth." So then Amon asked that president, "Is Pappy, do y'all have money in the bank? In other words, you're not insolvent?" He said, "Yes, sir." So Amon asked him to open up that bank. And they had time locks on those safes, so it's not real sure. Maybe that one didn't have it. But they had one of those big mail hoppers that were white. I don't know if you've ever seen them in an office building back in the day. And they would, it looked like you could put dirty clothes or something in it, but they would put mail in it. They rolled that over there, got $250,000 and brought it back. And Amon walked up front towards the depositors and said, "I'm Amon Carter. and I guarantee your money's safe. The Star Telegram's money and my oil money, it's all in this bank. And there was a guy that had $25,000 in the bank, and he said, he wasn't an Amen fan anyway. He said, Amen, we don't give a damn who you are. We want our money. So Amen walked back there and asked Pappy Wagner to do a speech. And it's the only speech Pappy Wagner ever did. He went up there and said, y'all know who I am, and I'll sell every cow and every oil well I've got in Texas to guarantee your money. And that guy, same guy, said, we respect you, Pappy, but we want our money. So they'd stacked the money on a big oak table, and Pappy turned around to that bank president and said, pay him off and start with that son of a bitch right there. And so they paid him $25,000, and he was trying to rile the crowd up. And the next person was a little old lady, and she said, well, Pappy, if you and Amen say it's good. And Amen immediately ran up there and said, hey, get anything with the bank's name on it, go over across the street to the Majestic Theater, and the movie and hot dogs and Cokes is on Pappy. So they squelched the bank run. And then Amen the next morning called the President of the United States, and that afternoon Republic National Bank in Dallas, which was the main depository bank for the federal government in North Texas, they sent over $1 million. So, and we had several banks that failed. The Stockyards Bank failed. There was 4 banks that failed, and they all reopened. Gooseneck McDonald's Bank, the Fraternal National Bank and Trust, did not fail. In fact, Gooseneck loaned money to the Stockyards National Bank and maybe the other one, and they never repaid him. But so it was tight. Times were tight. Amen would tell people, back then all you had was radio. Television didn't start till 1948. So Amen would go on WBAP. He started that in 1924, and he would tell people, just hang tight and we can help you through. And that's when they had started the Goodfellows. But also, Amen announced that Leonard Brothers was issuing script. If you were broke and you were a customer of Leonard Brothers, some of them, they would let you have $600 in credit. And even if you paid that off and went back, you only got it the one time, and I'm sure they lost a lot of money at it. And for some reason, you could not buy a refrigerator. And if you went up there and said, hey, our refrigerator's broke and we need to get a refrigerator, they would send one of their technicians out there to your house to make sure it was broke. So the citizens of Fort Worth, like we always do, we just pulled together and helped each other out. That's what life's about. And I know there's a lot of people right now, times are tough. One of my good friends' wife called me last night and said that they had lost about $700,000 in the stock market, and it was basically their nest egg. They didn't know what they were going to do. Robert, he was too distraught to even talk to me. So they're going to they've got an appointment with a banker on Friday tomorrow and see if they can. But times are, that's why a lot of people, they tell you to diverse and have a little something here, a little something there. And so, but I see that yesterday's market was the third largest single day advance in history, but that doesn't do much good for the few days that it had already gone down. And people that sold, they're down the tube. If you hung in there, and that's hard to do, and don't fire sale your stock, it comes back. Good morning, Melinda. So anyway, times are tough. We've got a new agenda. You've got to keep that in mind. What was the agenda of the government a year ago? We weren't talking about trying to stop people at the border. We weren't trying to set these trade deficits. And a lot of people, they get upset about that, but you got to go back and look at the history. All of these countries have been charging us tariffs, and we've been not charging them. So all he's asking for, now I don't know about China, but on other ones, say Canada or Japan, y'all have been charging our car dealers, some of them 40%. So we're going to have a reciprocal deal. If you charge our people 40%, we're charging yours 40%. A lot of people say that won't work. I don't know why it won't. Why do they get away with charging us and we can't charge them? Same thing with the United Nations and all these other deals, that climate deal. Who pays the most money in it? Us. So I'm not saying everything this administration's doing but is good or right, but I'm saying we've got a new course, and a lot of it is the things that I like. I told a couple of them at the Historic Commission yesterday, I wish that y'all could help me get to where we could start teaching 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders the history of Fort Worth instead of transgender or some sex thing. And they do have a committee that's working on trying to get education of our city into the curriculum. Should have been done a long time ago, Dub. You're exactly right. I think they've recouped already brought money in that was not going to come in under the old administration. $2 trillion. Well, I think our total debt is only like $34 trillion. Wouldn't it be something if this guy could cut the debt in half, or balance the budget and cut the debt in half? Those gold cards, it's kind of like you get these notices in the mail, you're pre-approved to do this or this. They send them out all over the world and say, hey, you want to become a citizen of the United States? You can get a gold card. It costs you $5 million. He's already sold $1,250 billion worth of those. So, like anything, if you don't run a tight ship, there's all of this graft. You see these agencies, these NGOs. I knew those were crooked. NGOs are non-governmental offices. They were on our southern border. Catholic Charities and 2 or 3 others, but they're funded by the United States government. So they would issue these immigrants these cards worth $5,000 and a free plane ticket and all of that. Well, come to find out, I think Chelsea Clinton got $28 million on one of those NGOs or USAID. You remember the Clinton Foundation raised all of this money for Haiti. I don't know if the stories are true, but less than $5 million went to Haiti. The Clinton Foundation got $28 million. And I hope they put them in jail. All of them. Republicans, Democrats, whoever. So, the president has said it's going to be tight, but things are going to get better. Gas started going down yesterday. So instead of everybody trying to incite riots, they talking about Trump did in January 6th. There's people out there torching Teslas. When Biden was in administration, when he was in the president, they loved Elon Musk. What changed overnight? So anyway, I don't really like to talk politics, but I'm tired of people trying to make us believe that it's all bad. It's not all bad. When you see a change in course, there's a new administration, and it's going to be tight. A lot of those people, they went to court and said they can't fire us. They were in their probationary period, and yeah, they fired them, and the Supreme Court said yeah. So anyway, just hang loose and things will get better. Let's do the sponsors. Yellow Snake Horses, Brazos River Ranch. If you go down Interstate 20, when you get to Millsap, which is about an hour away, you exit, and that's where her ranch is, and you can go horseback riding for 2 hours for $75, and she's got 180 acres down there, and you do not have to be experienced horse rider. Hold on, let me get my little dingy mousy deal. Eric Walsh is a realtor, but he's also on the board of Larry's Kids. Great guy. Can't say enough about him. During our last bike giveaway, anything that he was asked to do, let's go. There's Dub Peacock's company, A-Bird, AC and Heating. So if you have any issues or you just want to check your unit, it might need to be flushed out or cleaned out. I found out mine, I thought that something was wrong with it. Well, the yard guy, the grass and stuff grew up around it, so they told me and said, check it every once in a while and use your water hose and rinse it off. So, but if you think there's an issue, call Dub Peacock's company and he can fix you up. And yes, he is one of the Polly Peacock boys. Thank you. Do what? Who is this? Oh, okay. Thank you. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel. That's Pat and Richard Carr. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel was Richard's father. I can't say enough about them, Pat and Richard. They're helpful in all things in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. They are the first group, company, person, anything last year that wrote a check for $5,000 for Larry's Kids. I've known Richard many, many, many years, and Pat. Steve Coburn, Coburn's Catering. Now, they were started in 1946 by Otha and Steve's daddy, and it was a cafeteria. I know, I had an uncle that had a shop across the street by LaGrave Field, and I'd walk over there when I was 14 or 15 and eat lunch. But if you need a event catered or a party, somebody asked me the other day, well, do they do large ones? They do the stock show every year. I'd say that's pretty large. Fort Worth Lumber, they have been with me 10 years at least, both in the bike giveaway and as a sponsor. K Ranch Roofing, that's Jorge Hernandez. He's the owner. He's also a worker. If you think that you might have had roof damage from all these high winds and storms and hail, don't try to get a ladder and get up there. You'll fall down and break your neck. Call K Ranch Roofing. You'll get Bree. Bree is the office manager, and she's on top of all the jobs and everything. She'll set you up a appointment for their specialist to come out and then let them look at it. They don't charge you for that. You might not need anything done. Cross Electric, Brandon Cross, they were appointed DFW's favorites. The other day when I was posting their business card, like I do every day, several times, Manny Ramirez made a comment, said we use them, so I guess that's the county and personally. Jenny Stewart is our State Farm insurance lady. If you don't use State Farm, you use Allstate or Farmers or Freeway. Call Jenny's team and see if you can't save some money. It's all about saving money. I'm going to call because I switched once and I might switch again because just on red out there, It's $520 a month. I don't understand that. The only wreck or anything I've had in over 20 years is when that UPS driver ran into the back of me when I was stopped on Jacksboro Highway. And so I mean, it's full coverage, but 520, that's $6,000 a year. Anyway, Old South Pancake House. That has been in the Benson family since 1962. I used to do a little work for Rex's daddy, Dave Benson. He started Japanese Palace. A lot of the drive-ins were his. The Town Pump. Anyway, Mr. Benson got it in 1962, and it's been in the Benson family ever since. Now, there's two of them, one on University and one in Burleson. The one in Burleson closes at 9 or 10 at night. The one on University is 24/7. That same parking lot on University where Macaroni Grill used to be is Rex's Bar and Grill. If you hadn't been in there, that's got to be the premier sports bar in Texas. Optimist Club of Fort Worth. I had Jeff Norman in here the other day, and he explained to us all the good things that they do for our youth, boys and girls. Charlie Guerin. He's on the board at Larry's Kids. He is our state representative. He brought us some money from Austin last year for Larry's Kids. What a great guy. His brother Pete runs the Sid Richardson Foundation, and guess what? They gave us $5,000 too. And for that to happen, Pete is the CEO or the head man over there, but I can tell you, every big check has to be signed off by Mr. Ed Bass. Raines Plumbing. They are a family-owned plumbing business, and last week we had 3 of our members that used them, and they all got great reviews. They all told them my name and got $100 off their bill. Casey Crawl. Medicare and Medicaid. Don't try to navigate that by yourself. That is a disaster. Call them. They'll meet you at your place, their place, or somewhere in between. TriStar Dent is our paintless dent removal company. So if you got door dings, hail damage, whatever, Jason and his crew, and they come to you. Hold on. This is Larry. Yes, ma'am. I'm here now. Okay, y'all are going to drop it off? I can't barely hear you. About noon. Okay, well, let me explain to you. Well, y'all know how I work. I've done your cars. So when it gets here at noon today, there's nothing going to happen. So today doesn't count. Because, I leave at 2 and I start closing that part up at 1:30. So we won't even get it washed today. But go ahead and drop it off. Mike called me and said y'all didn't need it yet. One of your kids that was driving it bought a new car, so it's just going to be an extra car, but I'll get it worked in. No, I'll be here till 2. Yesterday, no, I did leave yesterday because I'm on the board at the Historic Commission, and it was my first meeting, so I didn't want to be late. Okay, well, thank you for calling me. Yes, ma'am, we're still at the same place. Thank you. Where was that? Tri-State Dent. If you got hail dings, door dings, hail damage, they can fix you up. There is Rex's Bar and Grill. They're in the old Macaroni Grill, 1501 South University Drive. Check it out. It's something else. Swartz and Hanson. Come on, Internet. Jerry Swartz and his partner, Mr. Hanson. They're architects. They have been sponsors and active in my bicycle giveaway. 10 years. Stroud Auto Supply. Danny Stroud and his wife came by several weeks ago, and we sat down and talked, and I had no idea at the time. They're in the Haltom City, Riverside area, and we were talking, and he said, yeah, we've been out there in the Haltom City area forever. And I said, all I can remember is Craigan's and Kissinger's. And he said, no, we were right there off, I think it's Riverside Drive. And I told him a guy named Tom that had California Custom next to the Dude Motel. He would work on my car, and if I pulled the parts off and went and got the parts and all that, he gave me a break. And that's where he sent me, to Stroud Auto Supply. That was Danny's father. Small world. Phelps Family Auto Care is in the Burleson area. These people have a great A1, A+ reputation. Mike Phelps and his family are all involved, and they have several technicians, and they're looking to expand to another location in Burleson. G2 Garage is in the White Settlement area. Chris and his team over there, they're always ready to do business with you. They run a little special every once in a while, so check them out. Dickey Car, it's not Dickey Car Trees, it's called Grateful for Your Trees. Dickey Carr is Richard's nephew. Great guy. I've interviewed him several times. And he does way more than just trees, but everything to do with trees they do. Cut them down, trim them, grind the stumps down, and then you can see all this other stuff he does. He's in his 30s and he's raring to go. Got a good crew too. So give him a call. Fort Worth Florist, Jeanette and her team. We got during the, not just Valentine's Day, but ever so often I get great reviews on her work. They're way out on Camp Bowie, but all you got to do is call them. You can go online and look at the pictures. You can do it all over the phone. Alpha Design and Build is Lance Sanders. They do commercial and residential. They'll remodel your house or your business, or they'll put a second story on it. Whatever you need. Scott is our IT guru, and he builds websites, he does consultation, and he does it a lot cheaper than anybody you're going to find online. Clay Winstead Paint and Body. I wouldn't take a vehicle anywhere else. I've been doing business with him 40 years, way before Clay was there. Winstead's has been around for many, many years. I've been doing business with them 40 years. So they're on White Settlement Road, just a block past Roberts Cutoff. So all of our sponsors, please tell them you're a Fort Worth Memories member, or use my name or whatever. And also sponsors, if you want to come by here and do a live video so people can see you, once they see you and hear you, they feel like they know you. So I always encourage our sponsors to try to make a little time to come by and do a live video, and that will help people coming your way. Still have no painter. I don't understand what the deal is with painters. I guess they make so much money and there's so few of them, they don't need no more business. Connie is in. We need a painter. We need a yard service. We need that. And I'm not talking about landscape. Landscaping's okay, but a lot of our members want the regular yard cut with, cut it, blow it, whatever. Not the $300 job, the $60 or $70 job. But we need several. If you know of somebody that's not one of these businesses that I've just announced, that's who we need. And our group is up to, this group maintains at about 131,100 to 800 every day. But all of the groups combined, the crime group's got 17,000 on it. So we're at about 180,000 on Facebook. We're about 200,000 active members on everything combined. Largest social media platform in 3 or 4 counties. So I got Kevin Foster, who's a retired Fort Worth policeman, and I don't know if he still runs that memorial over on 7th, but he brought me a couple of books, and we posted it, or he did, that are for sale. They're about police history. This one is called Fort Worth Cops, The Inside Stories. We were talking yesterday how my family skirted the line, good guys, bad guys. He said, but finally when you got out of your little predicament, you went back to the right side. And then another one, End of Watch, Fort Worth Fallen Officers, 1873 to 2024. And I guess you can buy these online. It doesn't say the price, but there'll be posts up there by it. It's got real good pictures. My friend J.C. Fletcher, Randy Fletcher was his son, and he was killed out there on the West Freeway. J.C. was a car dealer, but he also owned Richelieu Bar and Grill downtown. Let me see where Randy's picture is. Which way are they going? I missed it. 1980. Trying to think when Randy passed. I used to go down. There's Garrett Hull. What a great guy. We've got a memorial in the museum to Garrett Hull. It's a shame this book is so thick of people that were killed in line of duty. There's Dwayne Frito. God, was he a mess. He was a good guy. He's got a smile on his face. He always did. Henry Nava, Hank Nava. I used to support a group of autistic kids, and Hank would come by and say, hey, get them all down there to PALS, the gym. There's 2 or 3 gyms that is run by the city, and Henry would really show them a good time. I can't find. That's Taylor, Robert Canfield, Moon, Pendergraft. God, was it in the 70s? There's Jimmy Chadwell. I've got his memorial here. His badge, his gun. I can't believe it was that far back. There it is, Randall Lynn Fletcher, 1977. So I started detailing in 1972 or 3. I've been detailing over 50 years. On August 30th, 1977, just before midnight, Fletcher was driving southbound on I-35 near 4th Street exit. He saw a disabled truck in the center lane of the freeway with its flashers on. Randy stopped behind the truck and turned on the police emergency lights. When he was outside of his police car, the car ran over him, crushing him between 2 vehicles. That really tore up JC. JC's wife, Randy's mother, she never recovered. I mean, she used to work down there at help run the counter. The Richelieu had the best stew and chili in the downtown, I thought. And JC was a good guy. He was a wholesaler, used car wholesaler. So I'd have to go down there on Friday and pick up my check. We'd go upstairs and then he'd say, now get you a meal to go there, and great people. Okay, I got some stuff I gotta get started on. So I will see y'all at my first break. Have a great morning. Treat people like you want to be treated. Let's start showing each other respect.